A Transport for London staff member refused to remove Free Palestine graffiti and told the passenger who reported it that there should be more of it. It's by no means the first shopping incident of its kind, but it raises a number of concerns. Joining me to explain the details and the implications is solicitor and UK Lawyers for Israel director Caroline Turner. Caroline, could you just start by outlining exactly what happened first at Bank Station and then afterwards at Liverpool Street Station on the 10th of August?
Yeah, thanks, David. It was a really disturbing incident. So some friends were on their way home from a vigil for the hostages, and one of them went to Bank Station, and at the top of the escalators they saw a service information sign, but it had Free Palestine scrawled on it in large letters. They couldn't find any staff to report it to, so they asked their friend, who was now at Liverpool Street, to report it. She spoke to a staff member who was helpful and said he would contact Bank Station and ask for the graffiti to be removed. While she waited, a different person with a badge saying Customer Service Supervisor approached her with another staff member, and they walked towards her in a manner she said was hostile and confrontational. The customer service man was wearing a badge saying Palestine Solidarity and incorporating the Palestine flag and the letters RMT, which were his rail union. He made it clear that he had no intention of contacting Bank Station and that if she had a problem, she should go there herself. He actually told the passenger that there should be more signs like the Free Palestine graffiti that she was reporting. He said, I think they should be everywhere. And he also commented that his own badge was lovely and had beautiful colours, and even posed for photographs with his badges. The passenger told me that she felt harassed, intimidated and unsafe, and felt that the public transport should be a safe and neutral space for all passengers.
At what point did UK Lawyers for Israel become involved, and what aspects of the incident did you find most concerning from a legal or procedural standpoint?
Well, we became involved when the passenger contacted us a few days ago to tell us about the staff behaviour at Liverpool Street and to ask us what we could do about it. She'd seen the news about a similar incident that we'd been involved with. So we then wrote a letter to Transport for London's General Counsel, alerting them to what had happened and trying to ensure that it wouldn't happen again in future. From a legal standpoint, it seemed that the Transport for London staff had breached the Equality Act 2010, and in particular, Section 29(3), which relates to service providers, so anyone providing a service to the public, and to harassment. So it seemed that the Transport for London staff member had harassed a Jewish customer by bullying her, mocking her, and refusing to do his job of assisting passengers and arranging for the offensive graffiti to be cleaned away. Transport for London, as his employer, would be liable for his poor behaviour.
Caroline, this is not the first complaint of this nature UKLFI has raised with Transport for London. Could you briefly describe the earlier incident and how it relates to this latest case?
Yes, the earlier incident happened just a couple of weeks ago. We were contacted by a Jewish woman who'd been travelling on the Jubilee line going to Westminster when the man sitting opposite her started staring at her chai necklace that's made of 2 Hebrew letters. She described him staring with unblinking fury. She was really alarmed and got off the tube early at Green Park. His body language and staring were becoming really frightening for her. He followed her off the tube and started to chase her up the escalators. She ran up to a Transport for London staff member who was at the top of the escalators, sitting in a glass booth, and asked him for help. But at that point, she noticed that this TFL worker was wearing a Palestine flag badge. She was so dismayed to see this and felt that she would not receive any sympathetic hearing from him. So she just ran off, with the man still chasing her. In both cases, the TFL worker was wearing a badge proclaiming their affiliation or support for the Palestinian cause, and conversely, their opposition to the State of Israel. So it's inevitable that Jewish or Israeli travellers are going to feel intimidated if they see a staff member wearing a Palestinian badge like this, apparently authorised by TFL, and that will be considered a hostile act to them. I mean, this is the flag that appears in the hate marches that go on every Saturday ever since the 7th of October, and certainly doesn't indicate any love for Jews or Israelis.
And how has Transport for London responded to these concerns, both in terms of this specific incident and their wider policy on staff wearing political symbols or badges?
Well, they've apologised for both the incidents, and they've told me that they want everybody using their networks to feel safe and they want their staff to be supportive. They have also told me that after 7th of October, they actually issued guidance to all customer-facing staff that they shouldn't wear anything other than TFL-issued badges, no flags whatsoever. And even if they have a union badge, that union badge should only show the union logo, nothing else. They've now told me that their staff are being reminded of the uniform standards, and they're issuing a network-wide reminder to all their staff about it.
Why does UKLFI emphasise neutrality on public transport, and what risks arise when staff bring personal or political expression into their professional role?
Well, we argue that staff are there to serve the passengers, not to proclaim their political beliefs. And the risks that arise if they do wear these political badges have been well illustrated by these two incidents. A Jewish woman in the midst of being chased by a crazy anti-Semitic person being too scared to approach the TFL worker for help when she saw his badge. And the customer services supervisor, who apparently felt so emboldened by wearing his Palestine badge and proclaiming his solidarity with Palestine, that he felt that a similar slogan should be written all over the tube system.
And finally, what action is UKLFI calling on Transport for London to take following this incident, and what would you like passengers who experience similar behaviour to do?
Well, we're calling on TFL to properly ensure that their dress code is adhered to, and that those who breach it are appropriately reprimanded. So if any other passengers have similar experiences, then please do contact us and we'll put more pressure on TFL to adhere to their regulations.